As tonight, we come to you from the Steel City of Sheffield, England. Coming up next, our main event, the WBO Super Middleweight Championship, but not just another title fight. It's Calzaghe and Woodhall, pals since their amateur days, yet both saying they won't hold back. Well, tonight's main event is a marquee matchup in Great Britain. It was originally expected to be a title unification match until Woodhall lost his belt to Marcus Beyer late last year. But this long-awaited, much-anticipated showdown has still piqued the interests of the British fans due to the fact that it not only matches two homegrown products against one another, but two longtime friends. Here are the thoughts of the two men entering the bout.
In boxing, he's a good friend of mine. I have a lot of respect for him, inside and outside of the ring.
But I've always liked Joe. I've always got on well with him, and we've discussed obviously boxing people and opponents and whatever. We've always got on well. I mean, I can't say anything different really.
You know, he's a nice guy. We both have a lot of things in common. As our fathers both trainers, you know, both family men, both soccer fans, and basically, you know, both got a lot of things in common.
Although he's Joe Calzaghe, I won't be looking at him as Joe Calzaghe, the friend that I know. He's Joe Calzaghe, the opponent, and this is business.
I don't look across the corner and see Richie Woodhall. I just see somebody who's out there to try and take away my living and basically my world title, and I can't, you know, allow that to happen.
I really believe at 32, now, if I lose this fight, then I wouldn't have the desire to step down, even for the British title, to be honest. For me now, at this stage of my career, it's world titles or nothing. And I know that if I get beat in this fight, there's no more opportunities for me at world title level.
He's very, very dangerous because he says his last chance. So, you know, anybody with that attitude obviously has to be given that most respect.
Win or lose, then I'll shake his hand at the end of the fight, buy him a beer. And I always say that the winner buys the beer, so hopefully I'll be buying a beer.
Well, given the circumstances, it will be interesting to see the reaction of the crowd here in Sheffield, England. Will they side with one over the other, or will their support be divided? Who better to turn to for some answers than our British correspondent, Colin Hart. Colin, welcome aboard. Nice to have you with us.
Nice to be here.
Who do you think the fans will be supporting here tonight?
I think it'll be evenly divided. Actually, Sheffield is closer to Woodhall's home, which is a place called Telford, and of course Calzaghe is a Welshman, and those fans have to come a lot longer. Right. Have to travel a lot longer, so I think it'll be evenly divided.
Give us some perspective. Just how big is this fight here in England?
Well, this is a fight that the British fans have waited nearly 3 years to see, and unfortunately it's probably 2 years too late for Woodhall, but it is on paper a very close and exciting prospect. You know, Calzaghe has got tremendous potential, which he's never really fulfilled, and Woodhall is a very experienced pro. And so, and what of course is making it more interesting, outside the ring they're great friends. Once that bell goes, friendship goes out the window, and they both promised to try and knock each other out.
And in your opinion, how do you see this fight unfolding?
Well, I can't see anything other than a Calzaghe win. Woodhall's a very proud man, and he's got a good heart and a good chin. So I think it'll probably go to distance, but I think Calzaghe will win overwhelmingly.
All right, thank you very much, Colin. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure, Steve.
All right, we turn back now to Bobby Ches. And Bobby, from a technical point of view, Joe Calzaghe fights from a southpaw stance. Will that have a major bearing on the fight?
Well, Woodhall's 2 losses have been to southpaw, so it bodes that maybe he does not fight against southpaw as well. But even more than that, it's the style. The style of this southpaw, Joe Calzaghe, who's very quick, he's very busy, throws a lot of punches. If he gets on the inside, this fight could heat up and become a war very early because Woodhall is going to be forced to fight or get exterminated. At the same time, Woodhall from the outside, very hard to hit. If he can keep the fight at a distance, this could be a very boring and long chess match.
Woodhall's only 2 losses, in fact, are against Keith Holmes and Marcus Beyer, 2 southpaws. And as mentioned, going from the left side is Joe Calzaghe. Which leads us to your keys to victory for the main event.
All right, Steve. 2 British friends collide for Britain's pride and bragging rights and possible supremacy at 168 pounds. We'll start with the champion, Joe Calzaghe. His overall speed is amazing, hand and foot. He gets the combinations off as well. Multiple combinations has been very devastating to his opponents, and also sharp counterpunching. He'll make you miss, and he will make you pay. Here we're going to see Calzaghe against Chris Eubank, little jab and a left hook. If it's southpaw that throws a left hook is unusual. He throws in a crisp right hook, then another left hook, this one to the body. And what he does, he just stays on top. The punches just keep coming. There's the body shot. Now here he makes the adjustment. The hands go up for Eubank. He looks to block those roundhouse shots. Calzaghe comes up the middle, but he doesn't come just one or two. He just keeps firing up the middle until he has Eubank almost banged into submission. Woodhall's a little different. Taller fighter wants to keep the fight more of a range. He has to establish an effective jab to keep the southpaw Calzaghe out. Also, keep him at that distance. That's where he's much more effective. And every once in a while, he does throw a pretty good straight right hand. And when it lands, it can do damage. Here against Keith Holmes, he wants to keep that distance. This is where he likes to box, keep a safe distance. He uses a triple jab, not one, not two, but three. And he throws a right hand that doesn't land real clean, but this is what he has to do to Calzaghe. He's going to keep him off. Keep him at bay with that jab and fire the right hand, but hopefully he'll be more accurate.
Well, Bobby, we've broken the fight down. There's only one thing left to do. How about a prediction?
Steve, I like the busier fighters, the ones that are more accurate and that throw more punches. I have to go with Calzaghe. I think mid to late round knockout for Calzaghe or unanimous decision.
All right, it's unanimous. Bobby Ches and Colin Hart both go for Calzaghe. Let's get it back up to Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the announcement of the ring walks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for the featured bout of the evening. Prepare to welcome the boxers as they make their way to the ring. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the challenger from Telford, England, introducing Richie Woodhall.
The challenger, Richie Woodhall, former WBC super middleweight champion, a real throwback, no glossy trimmings. He's paid his dues. The amateurs, former Commonwealth and European champ, worked hard to get to the top as world champion, a career that has been worthy but unspectacular. Lost on points honorably to Roy Jones at the Seoul Olympics, taking the bronze, high point of his career, outboxing Sugar Boy Malinga to win the title almost 3 years ago. 2 defenses, then losing the belt to German southpaw Marcus Bayer. Since then, a routine win over a nondescript opponent. A career blighted by inconsistency and injury. Bothered by a back ailment plus an elbow problem that restricts the way he uses his right hand. As Woodhall makes his way in, Bobby, can he overcome all of that to finally escape the shadow of Calzaghe, Chris Eubank, Nigel Benn, and other top British fighters in recent years?
Well, you know, Steve, fight fans have a very short memory. If he comes in tonight against Calzaghe, a quality champion, and he looks good, dominates and wins this title, to forget about his past, and if he goes on to defend that championship admirably and honorably, he'll leave his own legacy behind.
Time is ticking by for Richie Woodhall. By his own admission, he's an old 32. He says this is his last chance for a title. A bad loss could mean the end of his career. Let's get it back to Jimmy Lennon Jr. to bring in Calzaghe.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring, here comes the defending world champion from Newbridge, South Wales, introducing Joe Calzaghe.
Returning to the scene of his title victory, the champion Joe Calzaghe from the coal mines of Wales. Although victorious, he has been inconsistent of late. Off an impressive 5th-round TKO over New Jersey's Omar Shika. Put forth an uninspiring effort in his previous bout, outpointing countryman David Starry on the Tyson Francis card. Was basically untested until his shockingly easy win over the favorite Chris Eubank to capture the title in '97. And among his 6 defenses, the biggest name was former WBC champ Robin Reed. The place is about half full for this fight. It seats about 10,000, 10, 11,000 for boxing. 5,000 or 6,000 are here. As you look at Calzaghe, who's been plagued by injuries, elbow, hand, back. Generally, Bobby, how do you size up his skills and how good can he be?
Well, Calzaghe's ring skills are very good. He boxes very well. He's got pretty good speed and power for a super middleweight. His ring generalship is good. His condition is good. His focus and aggressiveness also very good. As a 168-pounder right now, I like him as the guy to beat. Probably has a good chance of even finding his decision if he stays healthy. He's had some injuries.
Feeling is he has to not only win, but win impressively to earn a shot at triple light heavyweight champ Roy Jones. The last thing he needs, unless he intends to make the really big money, is a 12-round tactical boxing match. This has to be a thriller. Let's check the numbers as we go to the tail of the tape. Woodhall, at age 32, is 4 years older than Calzaghe. Slight 1.5-inch height advantage, Woodhall. Calzaghe gives away 2 inches in reach. At yesterday's weigh-in, both came in just under. Their weights tonight, Calzaghe 179 plus 11.25. Woodhall 178.5 plus 11. Key rules: no standing 8, no 3 knockdown rule. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt occurs before the end of the 4th, the bout is ruled a no contest. After the end of the 4th, we go to the scorecard. So they are both actually cruiserweights before the bell to start this fight. They are both nearly 180 pounds. Well, there was a lot of shoving and pushing and yelling during Calzaghe's last pre-fight with Shika. Complete antithesis here. None of the usual trash talking, because they are extremely friendly outside of the ring. Very respectful of one another. Back to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the Sheffield Arena here in Sheffield, England, for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Frank Warren's Sports Network and Showtime Championship Boxing, as sponsored by Red Square. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the World Boxing Organization. The president and supervisor is Francisco Valcarcel. Along with the British Boxing Board of Control, the steward in charge is Lord Brooks of Tremorfa. Our physician at ringside, Dr. Graham Stead. Timekeepers at the bell, also keeping countdowns of tonight's bout, Barry Pinder and Colin Roberts. Introducing to you our 3 judges scoring the bout from ringside. From Wolverhampton, England, we have John Coyle. From London, England, Dave Paris. And from Dalton, Illinois, in the United States, Gerald Scott. And the referee in charge of this bout, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions, from Kent, England, Roy Francis. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, from Sheffield, England, it's showtime. Introducing to you first, ladies and gentlemen, the challenger on my left. He is fighting out of the red corner, entering the ring wearing navy blue trunks with white trim, fighting out of and representing Telford, England. He weighed in at 11 stone, 13.5 pounds, 167.5 U.S. pounds. His record stands at 26 wins, 2 losses, with 16 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the former WBC Super Middleweight Champion of the World, currently ranked the WBO #2 contender, introducing Richie Woodhall. And his opponent across the ring, ready to fight on my right in the blue corner, the defending world champion, wearing black trunks with white trim, hailing from Newbridge, South Wales. He weighed in at 11 stone, 13.75 pounds, or 167.75 U.S. pounds. His record, he is undefeated in his campaign to the ring with 29 wins, no losses, 24 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, he is making the 7th defense of his title. Here is the undefeated WBO Super Middleweight Champion of the World, introducing Joe Calzaghe. Once again, our referee in charge of this bout, Roy Francis, now to give instructions, 12 rounds of championship boxing schedule.
Right, look at me. Right. One of you goes down. I'll take the other one, neutral corner, you stay there, I'll take them out, okay? Now, when I say break, stand back to exactly what I mean. You got it? Right, shake hands. Have a good one.
The book on Calzaghe: aggressive, busy, lots of movement, strong with fast hands, doesn't mind trading. He'll take one to give two. Good chin, never down. Woodhall, basically a technician. Strengths are determination, durability, and heart. He's got a decent chin. He's been down 3 or 4 times, but not overly fast and not a big puncher. He's a good long-range boxer. He likes to go with the jab for the most part, but he is susceptible to cuts and injury.
And right now, it's going to be important for the champion Calzaghe to cut that distance down, get inside those long-range arms of the challenger if he's going to be effective.
Woodhall told us the last few fights he's been criticized for starting too slowly. He can't afford to do that here. He said he needs to start quickly, immediately get into his rhythm, jab, box, but keep Calzaghe at range.
Calzaghe swinging a little wildly, looping both hands, left and right, nothing straight down the middle.
There's a right hand.
Beautiful right
Calzaghe.
hook. He hurt Woodhall. Right hook to the temple.
Good start by the champion, Joe Calzaghe, with a right hand that really got the attention of the challenger. There's another right off the top of Woodhall's head. And he is pounding to the body, Calzaghe.
Nice right hook to the body. He's coming up top with the 2. I think Woodhall's got some real trouble here. They don't look like friends to me.
What's the hate? What's the hate?
Roy Francis cautioning Woodhall. Woodhall again is backed up.
Straight left hand knocked the mouthpiece of Woodhall out. Referee stop and have it washed off. There's a lead left hand by the champion Calzaghe. Put Woodhall dead in the mouth.
Very difficult opening round for Richie Woodhall. Trying to get his bearings here and regroup. He loses the mouthpiece off of a hard punch by Calzaghe. Now they continue.
Might have been a little bit of a blessing in disguise. Give him a chance to clear his head, get his wits about him.
There's a good straight right to the body by Woodhall.
I'll tell you what, I think the champion ducked into it, caught him right on the button.
Pretty good action here. Good pace in the first round. Calzaghe doing most of the damage.
Nice straight left to the body by the champion.
Calzaghe with a left right. The left was beautiful. Straight right on the button.
Once again, the speed a big factor, although Woodhall's got pretty good speed himself.
Where that right hand of Calzaghe is finding a home early. And so far, Woodhall has no answers. Less than 30 seconds in the first round. Good countering left hook to the head by Calzaghe.
You can see the champion coming in with his hands tight, expecting to get hit on the way in, or at least block and counter quickly.
Well, they're not afraid to mix it up here at the start. The feet came together. They will tangle when a southpaw fights a conventional fighter. Good first round for the champion. Here in England, they do not allow audio in the corners. We'll do the best we can. The referee is also not mic'd.
Stand there giving the shot up.
There you go.
Go on. Enjoy it there. Come on, get the feet going again.
Come on, concentrate. Rich, don't forget, as soon as you feel yourself touch them ropes, get away. Don't let him
You'll be on it, you'll be on it. Come on, just settle in.
First round's out.
He's going to throw a couple. Now get the feet going. Jab and move. Follow it out.
Take a look at that right hook. He lands a nice crisp right hook to the head of Woodhall. That got him first started en route to being in a little bit of trouble.
And Woodhall comes out very aggressively.
And he came out right down the middle with the right hand. Corner said to him, you heard him with the right hand, bring it down the middle.
Woodhall with bad intentions there. Round 2 scheduled for 12 for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship. Well, they know each other very well in and out of the ring. They've never really sparred extensively, just one round. Calzaghe told us.
Well, after tonight, they can consider themselves all but intimate.
Very much so.
Don't hold it. They ain't that.
Nice straight left hand by Calzaghe, but Woodhall firing back with the right hand.
On his arm, let him go. Hurry, get out. Pull out there, hurry, and work.
Now holding and hitting on the inside. Woodhall continues to fight from the inside. Better round for Woodhall.
Much better round for Woodhall, but Calzaghe's starting to get the timing now, and he's blocking punches well on the inside.
Get away from me. Hey, right back.
Both missing.
Hey, stand back. He's on. Right, go to him.
Past the halfway point of round 2. It looks like Woodhall has suddenly figured Calzaghe out here in the second round after a tough opener. But we'll see how long that lasts.
Well, Woodhall evidently made some of the adjustments now because Calzaghe has to make them back.
Right hand got in by Woodhall to the head of Calzaghe. A flurry by Calzaghe.
Woodhall's right hand is very effective.
Woodhall with a bloody nose. Both very aggressive here in round 2. Some good exchanges. Boy, they're certainly fighting like they are not friends, but they are.
Nice combination by the champion. Made Woodhall miss, countered with 4 punches. Maybe only 2 of them landed.
The bell to end the second round. A much better one for Woodhall.
You're working for all of us, isn't it? Are you with me? You're letting him work first. All right? You're letting him work first. All right? The jab isn't working. All right? You've got to get the first shot in and then attack the 3 and 5. Back in. All right? Are you with me now? You're letting him get first shot in. You're giving me freebies. You're giving me freebies. Now, right now, it's telling you, all right? You've got to want it. All right? Stay in and take your shots in. You take your shots in. But you're not taking them in there. You're looking, you stay in.
Normally on the inside, Calzaghe gets the better of the action. But Woodhall this round has landed some nice right hands on the inside and from the outside. Better round for Woodhall. I think he squeaked that one out, Steve.
A trickle of blood appearing from Woodhall's nose at 2:30 of round 2, a round which he probably won on the judges' scorecards.
Calzaghe scoring, they said you got to work in behind the jab. Stop letting him work first. But working behind the jab, imperative.
Woodhall's had 2 operations on his right elbow. One before the Keith Holmes fight in '96 and one after it. If he throws from long range, he can damage the elbow again, so he has to get in close, almost with the elbow bent, to be effective. There's a good straight right to the jaw by Woodhall.
Come on, you've got the fitness on him.
Woodhall feels he's in better condition physically than Calzaghe, so the longer this fight goes, he feels he's in better shape.
Calzaghe right now is looking to time Woodhall. I see him looking and watching and trying to time what appears to be trying to time the motion. And so far, a little less action from the champion, looking for something.
Calzaghe's peppering the head of Woodhall.
There was a nicely timed right hand by the champion, too, over the drop left hand of the challenger.
Heads will come together under these circumstances.
Give your punches up, son.
Woodhall being warned by the referee, Roy Francis, to keep the punches up. It was nearly a low blow with the right uppercut. There's a good right hand, a stiff right to the neck by Woodhall. Woodhall not known for his power, more of a boxer. 26-2 with 16 knockouts. Calzaghe undefeated, 29-0, 24 by KO.
Right now at this range, while Calzaghe stays outside, Woodhall is more effective. Once he gets inside, it's all Calzaghe.
Woodhall was stunned at the 52-second mark of round 1, but then able to pull it together. Less than a minute in round 3. Right hand by Woodhall, sending Calzaghe back momentarily.
On the inside, Calzaghe tends to outwork Woodhall. Woodhall's looking for a shot, the big right hand from the outside. On the inside, Calzaghe 3-4 shots to the body, comes up top.
Feeling that Calzaghe is stronger than Woodhall. Woodhall trying to use his smarts.
Calzaghe starting to work now. Body, right hand to the body, being very effective.
Digging in to the midsection is Calzaghe. Big right hand off the top of the head by Calzaghe. Final seconds, round 3.
Left, all right? Are you with me? Are you with me? Sit down. Work around, all right? Good round, real good. Round 2, that's not very good, all right? Are you with me? Throw your combinations. Are you with me? Say your combinations.
You're doing him underneath. He's blowing like a bastard.
Will you sit on your shot a bit more? All right? You sit on your shot a bit more, John. Your right hand, you leave him alone. You throw your right hand, you go straight. Try right, left, and right. All right, you with me? Are you with me? Don't say you just do one shot at a time. I'll grab it in your hand. Bam, bam. That's intelligent. All right?
He's fucking good. Stay with him good. Once you sit with him, don't leave him. That's intelligent.
Range in your shot. Stay on your legs. Stay, don't range in. All right?
10 seconds, corners.
Bam, bam. Then move it.
Trainers refuse to wear the microphones, making it difficult for us to hear. Both fighters are trained by their fathers, Enzo Calzaghe in Joe's corner and Len Woodhall in Richie's corner. Round number 4. Fighters having their feet tangled on numerous occasions. 27 times in round 2, 29 more times in round 3. Heads coming perilously close because of the southpaw style of Calzaghe, for the most part.
You notice a little different piece to the ebb and flow here. Calzaghe came out backing up with Woodhall coming forward. That's much better for Woodhall, not as good for the champion.
Combination with the head by Woodhall, looking sharp. Crisp punches, another right hand by Woodhall that scored. And good defense as Woodhall able to cover up. Woodhall looking a lot more confident since a very rugged first round.
Right hand off the top of the, you can see the champion. Right hand just grazing off the top of the head of Woodhall. He's trying to tune him up with that right hook. Here again, he misses, but he needs to come forward. He cannot let Woodhall dictate the pace and the distance. That's not good for the champion.
Both very intelligent fighters, but it looks like Woodhall has made the proper adjustments.
Wait for him, wait for him. Come on, Richard.
Woodhall on his toes. Calzaghe more flat-footed.
Stop boxing.
That one seemed to be a little low.
Roy Francis warning Joe Calzaghe. Woodhall wears the trunks up high.
Go, Woodhall, let him out.
Less than a minute left in round 4.
On the jab, Rich.
Calzaghe trying to pick it up.
Calzaghe keeping his mind on the body too. He's always got a body punch mixed in the combinations. Very smart.
A volley of punches to the chest by Calzaghe. Woodhall bouncing off the ropes.
Not a very bright thing to do there. Could walk right into a shot.
Trapped against the ropes there. Able to spin away is Woodhall.
Now Calzaghe also making the adjustments, and the body work really telling.
More cautioning to Calzaghe for low blows.
I'll tell you what, the dangerously close to taking a point there. You saw the referee very upset about that low blow, although I thought it was a belt shot.
The aggression rages on as they continue to trade.
Movement. Don't blow it. Don't blow it. Just have the movement, you're standing stagnant. And just wind it up a bit. This is going to breathe. Breathe. Breathe deep. Everything all right? Yeah. Well, come on then. Let's do it what we've just been doing. Let's do what we've been doing in there. And what we've been doing. Move. You know you're standing still, getting him shots. Then fly him in. Follow him out. Breathe. Come on. Breathe deep. Think about it. That's it. You've got over the 3. Now let's go. Let's do it. We ain't started yet. It's another buyer job, but this time you're all right with it.
Woodhall being pretty effective with that right hand there, trying to rip it underneath. A double right hand with a little bit of a jab stuck in between, trying to keep Calzaghe at a distance. Now we'll take a look at that south of the border shot. That one was south of the border. Left uppercut, which did go low.
Round 5, this Dorado, which the champion knocked out up-and-coming American challenger Omar Shika 4 months ago. But that was a totally different kind of fight for Calzaghe. Oh, beautiful right uppercut by Woodhall on the chin of Calzaghe. Very sharp and accurate punch. Woodhall's nose bloodied, but he's the one landing.
Early parts of the round have tended to sway toward the challenger Woodhall, with the champion making adjustments and closing. There, another right hand on the chin of Calzaghe.
Calzaghe has never been down. His 7th title defense, undefeated 29 in a row.
Nice straight left hand by the champion. And I think what happens is in the beginning of the round, when Woodhall is not forced to run and move and get out of the way, he gets outworked as the end of the round comes, and Calzaghe turns it on.
Woodhall, the number 2 contender, his 6th world title fight, 3-2 in those fights. 4 years older than the champion at 32. He said he was motivated by fear going into this fight, fear of being humiliated. Well, he's certainly not being humiliated. But he is getting a bloody face.
Right now, the rounds are very close. I have it 3 rounds to 1 for the champion. I think he's outworked Woodhall. The majority of the first, 3rd, and the 4th round. The 2nd round I gave to Woodhall. But this fight is still very close. It's not in any way, shape, or form one-sided.
Calzaghe coming in the prohibitive favorite. And I'm sure in his mind, a little too close for comfort right here. Heavy straight right by Richie Woodhall to the upper chest area. The blood of Woodhall carrying over to the body of Joe Calzaghe, showing his fast hands there. Calzaghe.
Beautiful combination. He rocked out of the way of the right hand by Woodhall, come back with a 1-2. Really looking effective. And again, there's some punches and bunches making the difference.
But if they're willing to trade like this, you may have to give the upper hand to the champion. He's got more pop on his punch. Both have good chins.
And there's more punches in between.
Woodhall lands with a straight right to the head. And that gets the crowd going. Most of them seem to be behind Woodhall, who's from Telford, England. Calzaghe just gave a big wink at the bell to his buddy, Richie Woodhall.
Now move, it's just still
Right.
stagnant, lad.
Hit him
Now
during
listen
the
to
round.
your
We'll
dad
get him
now.
out.
Concentrate. This is important now. Come on.
Good friendship.
Listen to what your dad's saying.
Just
Yeah,
standing
come on.
there, you're ideal for him, Richie. Just standing there and then move. This is where you get stronger now. You mean, I haven't seen this double jam and get slipped down the side with a loop. I've told him out 3 times. Let's try. Try the body shot. That's it.
Calzaghe's speed here does not hard punches. He lands another combination, makes a miss, then comes right back with another 3-punch combination. That's where he's at his best. Punch, make a miss, and punch some more. To Woodhall's credit, he comes back with a couple of right hands, 1 or 2 of which land pretty clean. There's an uppercut, one over the top. One over the top blocked a little bit, but there's a third one. Woodhall fighting back and a fourth.
Woodhall taking some heavy shots from Calzaghe, but fighting bravely. There have been no knockdowns thus far in the fight. Woodhall's nose was bloodied in round 2. Blood began to flow more freely from his forehead in round 5. It is now the 6th. Scheduled for 12 for the WBO 168-pound title. Calzaghe has had difficulty staying at this weight.
You could almost see Woodhall trying to wind up that right uppercut. You could almost see him telegraphing. He was leaning with his shoulder, almost turning the punch out before Calzaghe came in.
Come on, Richie, lads. Work your legs. Right back. Right back. 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 Box off.
You may notice on Woodhall's trunks on the lower right side there, the initials. They're for Nicky Grace, a former fighter, good friend of his, killed in a car crash at the age of 26. Woodhall took his world title belt to Grace's grave after he became champion, and sometimes goes on his training runs up by the cemetery. He wants to bring another championship belt up to the grave if he can beat Calzaghe.
Pace slowed down a little bit here. Some of that cat and mouse chess game ensuing. Neither fighter taking a big lead here, worrying on the counters.
Right hand was blocked by Woodhall. Woodhall comes smacking back with a left-right combination to the head.
Probably the best combination so far for Woodhall.
That stopped Calzaghe in his tracks. Thus far, Woodhall rising to the occasion, I'd have to say.
He's fighting well. He needs to be a little bit more busy, but this fight is still pretty close.
Punches up. Keep them up.
Roy Francis staring down Richie Woodhall. Keep those punches up, he said.
So those punches are a little too light, a little too slappy. Champion has better artillery than he's using right now.
24 of his 29 wins by knockout.
Pitch the round now.
He downed Chris Eubanks seconds in with a left hook to the jaw. It is title victory here in Sheffield. The right uppercut was deflected by Calzaghe.
Calzaghe throwing more one at a time than he had in the earlier rounds, and it's showing because Woodhall is able to time him and tie him up.
It's a close fight here in Sheffield, England, in our main event for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship. The heavily favored champion Joe Calzaghe from Wales against Telford, England's Richie Woodhall. Crowd of about 5,000 on hand to see it.
Right here, you know.
Give it a drink, drink it, drink it.
He's tiring now. He's all down. As fast as him and then move. As soon as you hit the target, move and come again. Let him chase us now. This is where he's thinking his time now.
Breathe deep, Richie.
All right, you let him off that way. You took the rest. All right? Don't let him get a rest. All right? Don't forget. You with me? Are you with me?
10 seconds, corners.
An even fight thus far between these two friends. Bobby Chess, how do you see it unofficially?
Unofficially 4-2 for the champion. I think Calzaghe's outworked him the majority of the rounds, but Woodhall not going anywhere just yet.
Pretty clean fight except for a A couple of low blows here and there. Good action between these two 168-pounders.
You saw it right now. Champion come out with a little more purpose. Figure he probably lost that last round. I gave the last round to Woodhall. Also, he stopped working the body in the last round. Also, could be very telling.
So we're at the halfway point of this championship fight.
Stand by.
Again, Woodhall telling us that he felt the longer this fight would go, the better the advantage for him, because he feels he's in better condition for whatever reason than Calzaghe. Hard right hand there by Woodhall to the head of Calzaghe. He ate that one.
And he walked into a right hook counter punch there too. Getting a little right hand happy is Woodhall. Not waiting, not timing, not setting it up.
Woodhall said he learned from his losses to southpaws Marcus Beyer and Keith Holmes. He's showing that here against another lefty.
Don't give him the time to rest.
Once again, the combinations by Woodhall, shooting by the champion. Woodhall not responding.
He responds there with a straight right hand to the Adams apple. There's another right hand to the chest by Woodhall. He is just loading up now.
Yeah, he's trying to get one of those right hands home. He's not throwing punches and bunches, not throwing nice combinations, but when that right hand lands, it's being effective.
He better be careful not to open himself up to a return shot by Calzaghe. Calzaghe again coming forward, pressing the attack. Woodhall then ties him up. Woodhall may be a bit tired right now, but he nailed him with a right hand that got the attention of the champion.
Snapped the champion's head back with a right hand and a left hook. And again, Calzaghe goes back to the body.
That was perhaps the challenger's best punch of the night. Richie Woodhall. And now he's got Calzaghe backing up. Woodhall, very confident now, continues to march forward on the attack with 20 seconds left in the 7th. Now with Calzaghe pawing away ineffectively, Woodhall getting the better of Calzaghe. Good head fake by Woodhall. Nails it with another short crisp right hand. Good finish by Woodhall in round 7.
One more thing. It's doing the show, yeah. But you've got to do is you ask the question, are you? Make sure you are. Make sure you are. Simple as that. Make sure you punch one shot. But it doesn't matter. You're not working enough. Right on top, play what you think you've done. Straight shots enough. You're not fighting anything behind my teeth. Can be hard. You're not enough with him now. Show me some boxing what you've been doing. Long jump. Come on, this is it now. This is your half now, move. Move to the left. Come on, Rick. Come, listen to me. Move to the left.
Much drama in the two corners, a sense of urgency, more so in the Calzaghe corner. As we enter into round 8. The former champ's best punch thus far came at the 2:15 mark of round 7. Richie Woodhall, and it really opens up now.
Woodhall's taking his shot right now. He feels that maybe the momentum's turned a little. He's closing the gap in rounds. This may be his place to make a move.
Woodhall again dancing around on his toes.
Stand back.
Richie Woodhall looking for the upset. And that would please the fans here, most of them. Another good right hand by Woodhall that Calzaghe seemed to just walk right into.
You know what? He's trying to stuff it and block it and then counter, but he's not blocking it as cleanly as he needs to. And his counter punches are a little slow. He's waiting on Woodhall and needs to take the lead.
Right now, Woodhall looking quicker than the normally fast Calzaghe.
Woodhall walking to a little right hook counter punch there. We'll see what's the affection at all.
Missing with that right, Woodhall. Woodhall, again, electing to fight from close range when he is typically a long-range fighter. But feeling that this is the best strategy to earn him a victory. Good right uppercut to the jaw by Woodhall.
And there's a nice jab
by Woodhall.
Stuffed a beautiful jab right in the chest. The champion opened up his hands, didn't block it, right down the middle.
Great follow-up by the challenger, and then a beautiful elusive move and a countering shot by Woodhall.
Woodhall looking as good as he has all night long.
Woodhall really stepping it up here in round 8. Extremely confident. And Calzaghe looking a bit confused right now. Calzaghe's tired.
Showing some signs of wear and tear, Steve. Not looking like he did in the early rounds, and yet Woodhall still looks reasonably crisp.
And that's exactly what Woodhall said would happen. But here's Calzaghe on the attack now.
Calzaghe hit him with a good clean combination and followed up with second and third.
Oh, that may have been a low one, and Woodhall staggers around. Yeah, Roy Francis tells Calzaghe to keep the punches up, but Woodhall continues. No stop.
I'm a little confused there, Steve. If that was a clean low blow, it would have been a minimum of the third warning. I thought some time was warranted.
Francis giving the champion perhaps a break there. The bell to end round 8. Big round for the challenger Woodhall.
Come on, boy. Now you just get on as you just done. In 1 and 3, Rich. 1 and 3, it was beautiful. And then you stood and had a look at your own work. Fire him in.
Give him a drink, Lynn. Give him a drink. Let him get his breath together. Let's have a bit of calm. Let him have a drink. Let him get himself together. Now, Richie.
Enjoy him. Let him flow, Rich. Just let him flow. Don't hold him back.
We've got it. Rich, listen, you ain't got to go at 1 gear this range. You've got to go up 2 gears. Rich, you've got it in your legs and your lungs. All right, then, mate.
Work rate. Come on. Fast first. Fast in, fast out.
Let's go inside the ropes and check out low blow action.
We'll take a look. Joe Calzaghe going a little south of the border here in round 4. That uppercut right in the cup. Once again, south of the border in round 4, and consistently here in round 8, he comes underneath again, very close to losing a point.
No.
Joe Calzaghe and Richie Woodhall. With friends like this, who needs enemies?
I like that, Steve. That's good.
Keep your punches up.
Calzaghe's unblemished record and his title may be in danger here tonight with just 4 rounds to go.
Well, I have this fight evened up to 4-4, so we shall see. The last 4 rounds, including those 2 championship rounds, could be very telling.
Work on Rich. Come on.
A lot of head movement by Woodhall. Calzaghe going to the body and to the head, but most of those punches were blocked. Calzaghe doing a lot of leaning now. Woodhall seems the sharper of the 2.
Woodhall's taking the lead with the long left hand, setting it up, but Calzaghe keeps trying to land that right hook, but he's just a split second late on it, and they come in and tie each other up.
Calzaghe's got the 8th best KO percentage among champions, and he may need one here if this keeps up. Right hand, a crush by Woodhall that connected.
Nice 1-2 by the champion, jab and a straight left hand.
Right on Woodhall's nose. Woodhall missing with a wild right, countering left hand to the body by Calzaghe. Right hand to the head by Woodhall.
And yet Calzaghe just hanging there, looking at him, daring him to throw a punch, and misses wildly with the right hook.
Some furious exchanges. Yeah, Calzaghe going to the jab, following it up with the right hand.
Funny thing is, Woodhall's becoming more and more one-dimensional, jab and right hand, leaping with the right uppercut or his overhand right, and yet Calzaghe's not making that little adjustment. this is a good time for him to just make that one little adjustment.
Calzaghe showing some pretty good help. Straight right hand to the head by Woodhall.
Calzaghe start talking to him.
Calzaghe showing quite a chin. Does that look like a stinging straight right hand? Back comes Calzaghe with a combination to the head.
Combinations are taking the lead still, one at a time, one big one at a time for Woodhall. Calzaghe with the combination. It's not one and done for Calzaghe. It's 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Calzaghe with the heavier punches. Oh!
He's staggered.
There he goes. Woodhall goes down and somersaults to the canvas. First knockdown of the night.
7, 8.
And there's the bell. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. The count continued. The knockdown at 2:56 in round 9.
As soon as he comes at you, throw the big apron and get moving. Okay, that was
Watch his
excellent.
face, mate.
Excellent, now come on. Okay, pick them legs up. Are you still there? Grit your teeth.
You're 3 deep.
Grit your teeth.
Come on, Rich.
Grit your teeth. The jab did the job and then we stood there. Come on. Are you all right? Yeah, I'm fine, yeah. You sure? Yeah, yeah. Right. That's right.
Richie, you're
Good lad, now, come on.
Come on, dig in there.
You're still in here.
Rich, that's broke his heart. Richie, it's broke his heart because you're going to get off this
This is a
stuff.
perfect example of an accumulation effect. Instead of one punch, there's 1, 2, there's 3, there's 4, 5, there's 6, 7, 8, and that's it. Woodhall goes down as we get another look at it. 1 or 2 big shots, Woodhall gets blocked, but the champion just keeps coming and keeps coming.
10-8 round for the champion. Joe Calzaghe, we had a round 10. And Calzaghe once again on the assault.
Body shot hurt Woodhall.
What a barrage. Calzaghe looking to finish it right here. He has never stopped an opponent after the 9th round. Oh, wait a minute. Roy Francis has stopped the fight. And they immediately embrace, and Joe Calzaghe remains champion.
I think that was a premature stoppage for sure, Steve. Woodhall did not wobble. He did not do too much, although he's not complaining a lot either.
He's not. But that was one of the most immediate stoppages I've seen in a long time, and absolutely no dispute from the Woodhall corner. But he had really sustained a lot of punishment in the last couple of rounds.
You know, the accumulation factor can be big. There are times that I remember fighting guys and I would hit them round after round after round, and all of a sudden, a couple of easy shots in a row and they would fall, and I would think to myself, why didn't they fall from the hard shots? The accumulation factor does mount.
Be interesting to see how the judges had it going into the 10th round. We'll try to accumulate the scorecards for you. We do know that one of the judges, John Coyle, had Calzaghe ahead 6-2 with 1 round even. Wow. He had Calzaghe ahead quite convincingly. I thought it was a lot closer.
As did I.
John Coyle from England, who refereed the Tyson Savarese fight. In any event, Calzaghe retains his title, his 7th successful title defense.
We'll take a look at the knockdown. Again, Calzaghe's coming in, but he's not stopping at 1 or 2 the way Woodhall had. He's throwing 3, 4, 5, 6, and eventually they just catch Woodhall too cleanly, too often, and he goes down. Here's one of the shots. Looks like it comes around the gloves. That one underneath. That one doesn't hit. That one gets to the top of the head. But again, accumulation. You get hit with enough of them, they will take their toll. Now we'll look at the stoppage. Calzaghe's on the offense, and I think that passive defense, although there you see Woodhall trying to come off there and fire right hand, so it wasn't completely passive. When you put your hands up and get passive like that, referee's going to really look at it close, and he called it to a halt.
Joe Calzaghe now 30-0 with 25 knockouts. Interesting how he immediately embraced his good friend Richie Woodhall. He just didn't want to punish him any further. So we're awaiting the official call from our Classy ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. TKO, 28 seconds of round number 10. The question now, speculation that Calzaghe could fight light heavyweight champion Roy Jones Jr. Stay tuned for that. We'll see if that occurs in the near future. Let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 28 seconds in round number 10. A referee in charge, Roy Francis, stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout, still undefeated and still the WBO super middleweight champion of the world, Joe Calzaghe.
Joe Calzaghe, still the WBO super middleweight champion, joining Bruno Gerard, Davey Hilton Jr., who defeated Dingon Tobella last night, and Sven Otke as the 168-pound champions. It took until the 10th round, and Calzaghe applauding the name Richie Woodhall. Now they can finally go back to being friends again. That had to be tough.
I think they went back to being friends immediately after the stoppage, straight into a hug.
No question about it. We saw that. Very, very rapid embrace when Roy Francis stepped in to stop the fight. And now a little kiss on the cheek from Calzaghe to Woodhall.
Just take a close look at the stoppage. Watch a lot of the punches. They don't really land. They're hitting hands. They're not really landing. They're not hard. They're pity-pat punches. And to his credit, Woodhall came off with the right hand, and the referee stopped it just as he was springing into action.
And I think people will say good things about Woodhall after this fight. He fought very courageously and bravely against a very strong champion, Joe Calzaghe. From this vantage point, it seemed like a very close fight up until the stoppage. But the last couple of rounds, Joe Calzaghe was really damaging and punishing Richie Woodhall. Well, post-fight reaction coming up shortly, but first we want to remind you what's ahead in the near future. Juarez, super middleweight Jeff Lacey, as well as unbeaten 17-year-old super lightweight rising star Juan Diaz. That's on Saturday, January the 13th, also at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. You can catch all these exciting bouts in the months ahead only on Showtime. And we're joined now ringside by the victorious Joe Calzaghe. Joe, congratulations. Now that the fight is over and the pressure is off, so to speak, I can ask you, just amongst friends here and hopefully a couple of million people watching in the United States of America, what was it like? How difficult was it to be in there with such a close friend like Richie Woodhall?
Yeah, it was difficult, but like we said, we're split personalities when you get in that ring. I admit I did find it a bit awkward to start with, because Richie's an excellent boxer. He's a former world champion, very cagey, totally different fight than Sheikah fight. I knew that I had to look for Richie and counter punch him. I was made to miss a few times, but I showed my strength and my skill at the end to pull through.
Were you surprised by anything that Woodhall did?
No, it's pretty enough. I knew it was going to be a tough fight before I started, and I knew his style would try and counter punch me. For my liking, I got caught with too many right hands, but I was out of the ring for a long time before the Sheikah fight, so I'm just improving. I'm approaching my peak. My ultimate aim, as you know, is to fight Roy Jones Jr. He's looking for opponents, and if he's coming down to super middleweight, I'm going to take him.
Did he hurt you at any point in this fight?
No, not at all, not at all. Maybe off balance a few times. We got the orthodox against the southpaw fighter. He's trying to move the one way, I'm trying to move the other way. But no, I've proven through 29 fights, never been on the floor. I'm a granite chin. I just walk through walls. I'm relentless. I'll keep attacking until I finish the opponent off.
All right, we're going to look at some of the action of this fight here, Joe. Maybe we can get your help in describing the knockdown right here. He just kind of somersaulted. What was going on here?
Well, basically, I lifted my game a little bit. I could sense Richie was getting very tired in the 8th and 9th round. Basically, I was a bit lazy in the 7th and 8th round, giving him a bit too much time. But I stepped up the pace, 9 and 10, and basically I was overwhelming him, and I could see his legs were going. And you see the hand speed there for the 10th round was phenomenal.
Yeah, you were ahead 88-83, 87-84, and then 87-84 on the scorecards. Normally, you wouldn't feel bad or feel sorry for a guy you just stopped, but in this case, what might you say? I know you whispered a few things into his ear and you gave him a little peck on the cheek and you embraced immediately, but how would you console Richie Woodhall right now?
Well, basically, he knows he got beat by the best in the world. There's no shame in getting beat by, by the genuine world champion. And basically, I just told Richie that, he was a great opponent. I think he's still got a lot to give to the game. I think he's one of my toughest opponents I've fought, and you know, it's still time for Richie. Maybe a different weight. Obviously, I'm the main man at super middleweight. Maybe he can move up, but I'm just saying to him, you know, we can keep going. Don't be too disheartened from this loss.
Well, you touched on it before, a possibility of a fight with Roy Jones Jr. If we can just widen out and get a shot here of our promoter, Frank Warren, as well here. Frank, let me bring you into the mix here now with Joe. And I know he would love a shot at triple light heavyweight champion Roy Jones Jr. How close to a reality is that particular fight?
Well, I've been talking and negotiating with Murad Mohammed, who at one time was representing Roy. I've spoken to Roy personally. I've spoken to the Levin brothers also. And I thought we were going to make the fight, but I hear through the grapevine that he may have signed with another network. And if he's done that, then obviously it's going to be very difficult to make the fight because Joe is a Showtime man, and that's where he's at. But I hope he hasn't done that because it's a fight I think certainly everybody on this side of the pond would like to see. And I think now that the American public have got a showing of Joe, they've seen Joe I think last week and this week, they know what he's got, they know what he's capable of, and they know that he and Roy Jones will be a great fight. It would be a fight that the fans would want to see, and a real fight. It won't be Roy picking his opponent, it'd be a fight that the fans want.
If that fight were to take place, when and where? Could it possibly be in Wales?
I would like to do it in Wales at the Millennium Stadium. Roy indicated that he definitely wanted a fight over here. He said that he wanted a fight in this country, wanted the exposure in Europe, and that's what we were looking for. We were looking to do it. He was agreeable. We were trying to sort out the monies. That was difficult because Roy's team were asking for quite a lot of money, but having said that, I thought we were quite near to doing it.
And Joe, what weight would you prefer to fight that fight at? I mean, would you go up to 175? Would he come down to 168? You were almost 180 tonight before the bell rang.
Yeah, basically, I've always said I'll be a much stronger light heavyweight than super middleweight. It does take a lot out of me, but you know, obviously, I'd like to be a two-time world champion and fight Roy Jones up at light heavy. But if it means him coming down, I got no problem. I just want Roy Jones in the ring, prove I'm the best in the world.
Well, if you can't fight Roy Jones, do you look to unify the super middleweight division? You've got Otke, you've got Gerard, you've got Davey Hilton now, who just beat Tovella last night.
Yeah, definitely. That's been my aim since I won the world title. Obviously, that's up to Frank to get a unification fight. Basically, I believe I'm the real champion of the world, and I just like to prove it and take all the phony champions out.
And you believe that Richie Woodhall, who was concerned of being humiliated, he always says he's got to watch out for that going into a fight, but you believe based on the performance, the effort that he put forth here tonight, that he should hold his head high and should continue on with his fight game?
I think so, definitely. You can see Richie fought like a guy who was fighting his last fight, and that he gave 110%, and he made it a tough fight. You know, it wasn't totally one-way traffic. You know, he picked up a couple of the rounds, so, you know, all credit to him, you know.
Well, we said it earlier, because of the aggressive nature of the fight, you guys were not afraid to mix it up. With friends like this, who needs enemies? And we really appreciate you stopping by, and congratulations on your victory tonight.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Frank.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, fellas, for coming by.
A lot.
We really appreciate it. All right, before we work my partner, Bobby Ches, back into things here and get his final comments, a sad note in a fight not televised here on Showtime tonight, featherweight Paul Engel, who was upset by Balelo Botilli, knocked out in the 12th round, is in the hospital, drifting in and out of consciousness. Talking about Engel, it's been reported he suffered a cerebral hemorrhage, but we must stress that this is unconfirmed information by the manager of Engel, one Frank Maloney, and our thoughts and prayers are with Paul Engel. All right, let me bring Bobby Ches back into it. And Bobby, tough way to end the broadcast, but let me ask you about the main event. Your thoughts on Calzaghe's victory over Woodhall?
Well, I think Calzaghe didn't look necessarily as sharp as he wanted to. Came out early looking really good for the first 5 or 6 rounds, but then he got caught up to. Right hand started to land for the opponent, Richie Woodhall. Woodhall made it a very close fight, but again, champion summoned up what he needed to, throwing the combinations. He didn't look great, but he looked pretty good. But there's still some chinks in the armor he needs to fix. He wants to face Roy Jones Jr.
Anything he said that struck you particularly just now?
No, he gave a lot of credit to his friend and warrior, and as he should. Woodhall gave it his all, came up there and gave 100% of himself, and just didn't have enough.
If those two do get together, Calzaghe and Jones down the road, a preview of thought from your mind?
Well, you know, Roy Jones Jr. is pretty hard to beat. Calzaghe hasn't been beat. I think it'd be an interesting clash of styles, and right now it's hard for me to bet against Roy.
All right, let's take a look right now, Bobby, at the final results from right here in Sheffield, England. And our co-feature, as expected, Brazilian bomber Acelino Freitas remained undefeated, kept his perfect knockout record alive at the expense of late replacement Daniel Adesanya. Boy, he put Calzaghe down in the first round. Now 28-0 with 28 knockouts. And in our main event, Great Britain's version of Friends went to Joe Calzaghe as he prevailed over fellow Brit Richie Woodhall to retain his super middleweight belt. Is Roy Jones on the horizon? Stay tuned. That'll do it for another edition of Showtime Championship Boxing. Hope you enjoyed it, since we won't be with you again till the new year. For Bobby Ches, our entire crew, Steve Albert wishing you a very happy holidays from Sheffield, England.